Boxing, a classic and highly competitive sport, has a long and powerful history. From legends like Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, and Michigan's own Joe Louis, this sport continues to thrive today. And the Punchtown Boxing Club helps individuals grow in confidence, strength, and well-being, focusing on their individual goals. Today, we're joined by Coach Noah Turner and professional boxer Brandon Wilcox. I'm Chris Benson, and welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Medina University. We're very excited to have both of you here today. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So, talk to me about how did you decide that you wanted to get into boxing and then open your own boxing place?
I grew up watching boxing my whole life, so I was an athlete my whole life, so that's how I got into boxing.
So what was it about that sport? You could have picked a lot of different sports. There's a lot of things. So if you were an athlete, what kind of, were there multiple
I did
sports?
football, track, and boxing was just the funnest because you can fight.
Oh, so this is enjoyable for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so then somehow, how many years did you do that?
I started at 13 and I still do it. I just don't compete anymore.
Okay.
So I'm 24 now.
Okay, and how did you say, gosh, I enjoy doing this, to I'm going to open a gym and I'm going to coach other people into it? That's a big leap there.
So actually, I was personally training, like doing personal training with weightlifting.
Yeah.
And then the owner of the gym, he actually told me he wanted me to help out coaching the kids. And they didn't have a real good program, so I helped coach, and I turned the program around. And then I kind of leaned more towards coaching only and got away from the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I ended up having enough clients to open my own gym in Madison Heights.
Wow. And where are you guys located? Like, what's cross streets?
13 Mile and John R.
Okay. And how long you been open?
2 years now.
2 years. So
Yep.
you're not a rookie anymore.
No,
Now
not
you're
anymore.
in it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like when you first opened the door? Do you remember like the first day?
Yeah,
you opened?
it was exciting. I felt like kind of like a feeling like I made it, you know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I knew the future, the road ahead would be great. So it was a motivational feeling like, all right, I'm doing something great in life. And so, yeah.
So do you remember your first time coaching someone?
Yeah, so I was working in construction actually, and then I was personally training on the side. And there was this kid named Titus. He came to the gym and he was the first person I started training. And I was actually about to quit personally training and go back to construction. But me and him had a connection. Like, he was a natural athlete and super talented, and he picked up real fast. I got him his first fight and he won. He fought a kid 5-0, his first fight, and he got fighter of the night and he won. And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of good at coaching. So I built a team and we've had a lot of success.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And how did you meet this gentleman next to you here?
So this guy, he came to my gym one day and I didn't think nothing of him. I was just like, you know, everybody, they come to the gym, so they all want to fight. So I'm like, all right, let's see. So I threw him in there with my best guy, and it wasn't pretty, but he showed a lot of heart, and he's super durable. So when he kept getting back up and he kept going and going hard, I was like, all right, he has a lot of heart. So whenever the next sparring session, I threw him back in there. Same thing happened, but he did a little better. And he kept showing up. He's super durable. I was like, you know what, I'll take him serious. And now he's about to make his pro debut. So it's been a fun journey.
Well, that's awesome. So what do you look for in someone that you're going to coach? Like, what is it that makes them different? Like, you mentioned a couple qualities Brandon had where you're like, I could see.
My main thing is you gotta listen, because I believe in my coaching and I know what I'm talking about. So you got some guys who they'll listen for a certain amount of time and then they get too big-headed and like, all right, I'm good enough. I don't need to listen to nobody. I'll do my own thing. But you gotta keep your ears open, and then you gotta have heart and you gotta be durable. So
how do you keep yourself from not getting frustrated when they're not listening? Because that's a hard part.
I do get frustrated, but I'm a pretty, you know, I got my head on my shoulder, so I can, you know, I understand. I was an athlete, so I understand you can't listen all the time. So I understand the mind of an athlete because I'm an athlete myself. But I do end up getting frustrated. I just have to, if I really believe in the individual, I can, I'll deal with it. We have conversations and I tell them, listen, you gotta listen, you gotta tighten up, whatever it is. And usually they do. All the ones that I train that are serious, they always listen and they trust in my coaching.
So your gym has been open now for 2 years, you
Yep.
said, right?
Yep.
What has that been like? Did you have experience like owning your own business and knowing
No,
what to do?
well, I just had a lot of clientele, as
Yeah.
in personally training, and I've been around boxing my whole life. So, like, I grew up watching boxing as a child. I lived in the Philippines for 2 years.
Yeah.
My parents were missionaries, so Pacquiao was the famous guy
Yes.
out there.
Yes, Manny.
So I grew up watching that as like 2, 3 years old, and then we came here. Michigan is Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
always grew up watching boxing. So I really know everything about the sport, and I'm still learning every day. There's always something to learn, but I love the sport, so I'm just passionate about it, and that's why I think the business is doing good.
And do you do this by yourself, or who do you work with at the gym?
So I'm the only coach. I coach all my fighters, but my parents, they help me with, customers come in. I'm too busy giving pad work. They'll help take care of the customer. My sister helps me as well. So I have a really great support system. And then my fighters, they always help me around the gym. If I'm busy, they'll talk to customers. They'll teach the younger guys. They'll give them advice. Everyone's like family at my gym.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like they really are family, but
Yeah,
it
it's
sounds
super
like there's
family
a
oriented.
connected feeling
Yep,
too.
definitely.
Why is that important? I mean, and I don't, it's funny because I don't know anything about boxing and fighting, so I'm learning from both of you guys today.
Right.
You're teaching me. But why, I would think like, gosh, you got to really have an edge, and there's got to be like, like the Brazilians you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that family and that connectedness important to you?
Because it's a tough sport. Like when you get into it, the professional side and even the serious side of the amateurs, it gets lonely and it's a tough sport. So you gotta have a great team around you. If not, you'll feel lonely, and majority of guys, they'll end up quitting or they'll just go the wrong path. So at my gym, I make it a big thing, and my fighters, they make it a big thing to bring everyone under their wing, and we're family. That's my big bro, my little bro, like
Yeah.
we're all family. Because when we go to these tournaments, that brotherly bond, it helps us go in there and show out to the other teams that don't have that, or
Yeah.
that do. We just gotta be stronger than them,
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, it comes through. I can tell just even from our brief talking here today.
Yeah.
So, well, we have to already take a short break. When we come back, we'll learn more from Noah Turner, and we'll talk to Brandon and hear about his debut. So stay tuned.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in. Help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
Nice. No. Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and with us today is Punchtown Boxing Club coach Noah Turner and professional boxing member Brandon Wilcox. And very much want to hear, Brandon, how did you get started in boxing?
As a little kid, I was very athletic. Like, I did a lot of sports. Like, I did soccer, basketball, football. But, like, none of them sports would, like, stick with me. Like, if we lost because of, like, another person, I could never, like, be okay with that. So I ended up just going up to the Salvation Army with my dad one day, and then there was a boxing gym down there. I started training down there. The coach went up to my dad and said, "Can I train your son?" And from that point on, it was a done deal.
That was it. Okay. Do you remember those first, like, few punches or, like, just kind of getting in there? Like, how did that feel when you were a kid?
I was actually excited. It really just had me happy because I was like, oh, dang, this is different.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys got connected and you're there at the gym, and we've got some pictures to show where you train and where you create all these things that happen. So let's look at these pictures and tell us what we're looking at. Oh, wow. Okay. That looks like people in action there, huh?
Yeah, that was his fight in Toledo.
Oh, really?
Toledo,
Okay.
Ohio.
Yeah.
He fought a guy from out there.
Wow, awesome. You look like you're dominant. Look at that. Okay, what am I looking at here?
Yep, that's when Brandon won the national championship in Grand Rapids that they have every year. And that's my other fighter, Rebecca. She's ranked #1 in the country.
Oh my gosh.
She won the nationals that day as well.
Oh, that was a great day for both of you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. All of you guys. Oh,
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay.
That's me and him at, that was a couple fights ago. That was a great fight. He fought a guy with about 300 amateur fights from like Ukraine or around the area.
Oh, really?
Tough opponent. It was an exciting night, a great fight, great matchup. Everybody was really into the fight, and I was just giving him some advice.
I was saying, what are you saying to him there? Because you guys,
Probably
that's a
telling
great,
him to jab.
Yeah, you know, that is a
Use
great
those long
photo.
arms.
Great photo. Look at the intensity there, and I can just see that. Oh, neat, with the posters there, too.
Yep, that's for his upcoming fight on Saturday.
Oh, wow. So how will you get ready for Saturday's fight?
Just listening to my coach, listening to what Noah has to say. I've just been trusting the process, and like every time I listen to him, it's always a good outcome. So
It works out well.
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Talk about some of your heroes that you look up to that have inspired you to do what you do.
So one of my favorite fighters is Roy Jones Jr. Like, I just like how he just dominating the sport and like how he is just as a fighter. I like him. And then also the other person I look up to is Terrence Crawford, because he was always viewed as a person that was like, they always underestimated him, and then he always would come in and show out and show everybody that he has the skills to pay the bills. So
Yeah, yeah. What do you think people get wrong? People like me who are watching a fight, what do people get wrong? Or what are the myths that exist about boxing and fighters?
they tend to think that fighters are just so aggressive and just think that we can just beat everybody up, but we very humble. Like, we kind of steer away from confrontation because ain't no point in getting into it with a person when you already know what you can do.
That's a good point. I guess I never thought of it that way, right?
Yeah.
And so what is your training like? Like, what is a week? Tell me what this week would look like for you.
It'll be Monday, we just working on boxing skills, working on technique.
Okay.
Then Tuesday it'll be sparring, so either we'll be going to another gym sparring with some other high elite fighters.
Okay, so you gotta explain sparring, because people like me are like, I don't know what that is. So,
so it's like a practice fight.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
you'll have a practice fight with other fighters or other gyms,
okay.
just to get you ready for your real fight that you're gonna get ready to have. So
Do you go all out, or is it like 80% effort?
it's close to like 60 to 80%.
60? Okay. 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 So you got sparring. What else would you do in a week?
And then Wednesday will come around, we back working on fundamentals, running, sprinting, hitting a tire, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
and then Thursday again is sparring, and then Friday is just like a light day.
Okay.
Just to,
A light day. Probably we would look at it and go, that's not a light day.
Yeah.
Why is running important to what you do?
just to keep you in shape,
Okay.
and then get you ready for the fight. But it's not really running; it's really sprints.
Okay.
That's
Why?
what we do a lot of, cause it's high intensity. So, like in a fight, it's very intense. So you gotta have something that matches that. So you running a sprint, you're doing it. You're trying to run as fast as you can. So that's high intensity.
Okay. To get the body ready for what you're about to do. How long is
Yeah.
your typical fight?
So it's 3 minutes around, 1 minute rest. So I'll say like close to 12 minutes.
Oh man. And how challenging is it to be there in those 12 minutes?
Sometimes it don't even feel that long. It
Really?
just kind of just goes by, and then next you know you're just like, oh dang, the fight's over with.
What is the hardest part of being a fighter?
Cutting weight.
Okay, so cutting weight, talk about that.
So like you can't eat like good, like you can't eat like snacks, you can't eat like chips. Like I love Oreo cheesecake. Like I'm a fat, skinny person at heart.
Okay. And so you have to cut weight, why?
So I can be able to make sure I make weight. Because a lot of times when you're fighting, you're not gonna be weighing the weight that you walk around at.
Right.
You're gonna be cutting down to a lower weight class so you can
So
be
you're
able to-
ready.
Yeah.
So you can do things like this. So
Yeah.
you have to pick that up and take us into the break with that. So when did you get this?
I won this in August at the King of the Jungle Ringside National Tournament.
And how much do you think that weighs?
Probably like maybe like 20 pounds.
It has to, because I tried to pick it up before the show even started. And then this one, you've got another one here. Tell me about this one.
That's the one that, actually the picture that we just went past where I was fighting someone in Toledo. I had won that belt at that show.
Wow. And what do you do? Where are these at home when you have them at home?
I have them in a case put up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would definitely keep them, out of anybody just kind of hanging out and put them on. You got people like him coming over and trying to put them on, right? No, just kidding. It's time for another quick break. When we're back, you'll hear more from Noah and Brandon, and they're gonna show us how to do a thing or two. So stay tuned.
Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. I'm ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and today again I'm joined by Coach Noah Turner and professional boxer Brandon Wilcox, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about what happens in the gym there, and then they're going to show us a boxing demonstration. So if I were to come off the street, I'm interested and I want to work with you, like I say, you know what, I want you to coach me. Talk about like what's the process there? Like, what do I do?
So we have classes Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 7:30. And then with the membership also, you can come in through open gym hours. I will teach you all the fundamentals of boxing, and then little by little we just progress. And then we also finish every session with strength and conditioning.
Oh, so like what might that look like? Like when you say strength conditioning?
We will start little by little, like have people do barbell squats, bench press, sprints, suicides, core workouts, but little by little. We don't just throw you in there. We
and
build
make us
you
do it.
up.
I would never come back if you did.
Yeah, we build you up little by little, you know. So.
Get me progressive, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, show us, just demonstrate and show us like, what you would normally do, I guess, and show, we got to see what Brandon's got here is what I'm looking for, so, okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to show y'all a jab. So Brandon's super tall. He's 6'3". He fights at 147. So he's got a lot of range. So his best punch is his jab. So pop that jab, boom, jab, boom. And then after that jab, you want to put that 2 down the middle. So 1, 2, good. 1, 2 hook. Yep. Jab, jab, 1, 2. So when you got a tall guy, you want to do a lot of straight shots and then come around with a hook or something.
Wow. Okay. So how do you tell him what to do? Like, how do you make the choices on what to do? Do you try to be like unpredictable with like what you're
when
doing
we're doing
with
pad
your
work?
opponent? Yeah, yeah.
When we're doing this, we just work on what he needs to work on for the opponent, or just we're in training. I see some flaws, whatever we're working on. We work on certain combos. Also, you can use this for endurance. You can have him throw a long combination and help with endurance too.
How long did it take him to get this good?
A long time. He started when he was a kid. He came to me 2 years ago, and that's when I really seen him progress. He was a fast learner.
Yeah.
So he progressed pretty fast. Everyone's different, so it just depends on how fast they can progress.
And how does it, when you look back at the time that you've been and you've progressed, clearly you're going pro now, where do you see that shift really happened, where you started to really believe, did you always believe that you're like, I can do this, like pro?
Like, I always dreamed about it when I was a kid, but I didn't know if I was good enough at first until I got around Noah, and I started going to his gym, and then he just started showing me like you can really do this, and then he took me to my very first nationals, and then I went there and dominated and won the whole thing. So then I was like, yeah, I really can do this.
Well, we saw it. You can do this. So, okay, congratulations.
Thank
well,
you.
I'll get out of the way. You guys do some more. Show us some more. Show
We
us
need
what
to
you
get
got.
you in here too.
Well, maybe you go ahead first.
So it's a hook right here is a hook. So when he shoots the hook, boom, he can come with an uppercut right after. So boom, boom, yup, and then back on that jab. 1, 2, 1, 2 hook, 1, 2 hook 2, jab, yup, uppercut hook, jab, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2 hook, jab, double jab, 1, 2 roll. Good. 1, 2 roll 2. Good. Touch. Jab hook. Jab hook 2. Good. Jab hook 2. Jab. Good. Upper. Hook. Upper hook. Body. Hook. Good. Catch, catch. Catch. So sometimes I'll throw punches at them because the opponent's swinging back. So you got to throw punches at your opponent. Jab, get him back on the jab. Come on, fast jab. Yeah, fast jab. 1, 2, touch, hook 2, touch, good, upper. Yeah, I might gas out.
Well, that's a lot of activity they have to do. My Lord, that's impressive for you, my gosh. And also for you, because as I'm standing here watching, I'm thinking, you're focused right on the, what do you call this, the pad?
Yeah, the pads.
He's so focused because I
Yeah.
thought I would have like accidentally like hit him in the face. You know what I mean? Because you're giving these commands so quickly.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Like, what's your website and social? Like, how can they
So
get
you
connected?
can find us at punch.town on Google, on the website.
Yeah.
And then social media, Punchtown Boxing, and Facebook, Punchtown.
Okay.
Punchtown Boxing on Facebook.
Okay, and what do you hope for the future for Punchtown Boxing?
We have a really solid team. They're young, they're up and coming, so I would like to just get some hot prospects and then some champions eventually. And then as far as my amateurs, just keep keeping our team solid and growing.
And what I know you've got a big fight coming up as we're recording this, so I'm going to wish you luck on that. But
Thank you.
where do you want to go? Like, where do you see this going for you? What's your goal?
My goal is to be on the world stage and possibly be undisputed one day.
Okay.
Become a world champion.
I'm able to say I knew you won. That's good. Awesome. Well, as we're so glad you could join us here on Celebrate Michigan. It's been such a pleasure getting to know these two guys, and I'm just going to have you guys continue to demonstrate as we go. I'm learning from the sidelines here. We're glad you joined us, and we love that you help us celebrate everything here in Michigan, and we'll see you next time. Go to it.